So before I rip into our corrupt, biased left-wing media, which I am about to do, let me just say a couple of actual kind words about them, because we all attack them, but there are some of them I actually want to say nice words about. There's a video going around of a victim of the hurricane who has just gotten her kids off the roof, and gotten them out. And a CNN reporter comes up to her and she goes off on her. Nobody could blame her, obviously, for going off and for just being hyped up. And this has been kind of going viral because everybody likes to see CNN picked on, as, in fact, CNN as an institution well deserves. So here is this moment when this poor woman actually has had enough of being interviewed.
But y'all sit here, y'all trying to interview people during their worst times. Like, that's not the smartest thing to do. Like, people are really breaking down, and y'all sitting here with cameras and microphones trying to ask us what the is wrong with us.
I'm so
and you really trying to understand it with the microphone still in my face.
So I have to say that obviously we all love to see reporters get yelled at. But the woman, I actually felt for the woman from CNN. That's her job. That is her job. I've had to do this job. It is so unpleasant. I have had to call mourning parents on the day their kids died. It is just a terrible, terrible thing. And the thing is, you're putting together a story. The only way that a news agency can put together a story is one person at a time. A story like this that is massive and big, and you have to do this. And so, obviously, the woman, no one can blame the victim for going off on the woman, but this is what they have to do. And the media was insanely unfair and incompetent in covering Katrina. I mean, they reported all kinds of atrocities that didn't happen. They treated George W. Bush like it was his fault. The levees broke, which was insane. It was the fault of a Democrat government. One of the most corrupt governments in the world was New Orleans up until that moment. And yet, even so, by putting pressure on the government, the response to Hurricane Harvey has been much better because they have corrected the mistakes they made for Hurricane Katrina. So before I rip these reporters as they deserve, let's take a look. When a big story like this happens, local reporters get their big chance. And so they're out there for the first time. You're on some little station in the middle of nowhere, or a little station even in Houston, which is not that little, but still, you're not on a national scale. And suddenly you're covering a national story. Here are a couple of reporters. I'm going to name them. KHOU 11 reporter Brandy Smith. This is a CBS affiliate. She was in the middle of doing a story. Don't run it. She was in the middle of doing a story when she saw a truck sinking in the water and a truck driver stuck inside it. And remember, this is a woman who is getting the big chance of her career, and she wants to stay on camera and do a good job. Ed Lavandera from CNN saw an elderly couple and helped them into a boat. KTRK, which is an ABC affiliate, reporter Fodi Kalergis rescued some disabled people off a roof. And even though it's not as important, but it still touched me, it was meteorologist Paul Goodlow from the Weather Channel, who saw an American flag in the wreckage. Here's a montage of these reporters.
The incident response team that was over here on the Hardy Toll Road is not here. Here we go. We have a boat coming. We have a boat coming. I'm gonna flag these guys down and see. Hold on just a second. Are you guys headed down to the truck right here? No. There's a truck driver stuck here in about 10 feet of water. Thank you.
We were about to leave this neighborhood. There was a woman who had kind of flagged us down that her and her two elderly parents were still stuck inside the home. So I'm going to put the mic down. We're going to help them try to get back into the boats.
Look, they're flashing the light. I think they probably want us to maybe get one of those people that's up there. We can take you guys if you need. An elderly sick person? Yeah, bring. Two handicapped. Two sick and disabled and two in wheelchairs right now.
I don't know how strong the winds have to be to cut a palm tree in half, but that's what happened to the top of this tree. But next to it, we've got Old Glory. I can't let Old Glory just sit here like that. The school, yeah, it's battered. So is the flag, but we've got to fold this up. Make sure this isn't a casualty to Hurricane Harvey.
That's great stuff. That was great stuff. These are local reporters, obviously getting a big break and putting aside their story for a minute to help people out, and I think they deserve tribute. most of the time in our, I have real serious problems, as anyone who listens to this or watches this show knows, with our media. I think that they are the source of so much of the political problems in our country by dividing us, by selling this narrative that there is a Democrat. They're just all Democrats, and they talk to Democrats, and they think they're not being biased. They actually are under the delusion that they're not being biased because each one of them reinforces the other's opinion, and they push this narrative that there is Democrat policies and then there's hatred. Democrat policies and hatred. That's it. And this is where the justification of these Antifa guys going out and beating people up. They think, oh, you disagree with us, you're hateful. There's some certain things that can't be stood without answering them with violence, like anyone who disagrees with us. And that is the narrative the media pushes. But most of the time, it is not street reporters. Street reporters are, most of them, animals. They want the facts. They want to get the incident. They want to be on the scene. They want to see what goes down. They want to find the information and get it back. It's when it hits the editorial staff and the guys at the desks that the pollution of this bias starts to occur.